Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Alain. Hope your day is starting out well. Got the sun coming up on my mug here today because I wanted to talk about the sun and I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the dangers going on with this heat wave and talk about staying safe during this heat. Before I get onto that, thank you to everybody watching, sharing, commenting, whether it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, listening to the podcast. Appreciate all of you. Make sure you go to enjoylifesafely.com. Get that free ebook, How to Stay Safe in This Crazy World. Give you some really good tips on staying safe, keeping your family safe. Enjoylifesafely.com. You can download it for free and get you some tips on keeping you and your family safe. Now let's talk about the sun. It's creeping up and it's getting hot all over the place. The heat wave is continuing. Took Rocky out for a walk this morning up in the mountain, try to get up to the trails before it gets too hot. Fire danger, extremely high. Extreme. The highest rating they have on the little signs that they post around trailheads and around Montana, warning people about the danger of fire. It's extreme, high as it can go. It is so hot, so dry. We already have fires going on. You got to be smart. You got to keep yourself safe, and you have to make sure that you don't do something stupid that's going to start a forest fire. Throwing cigarettes out the car, leaving a campfire or a picnic fire unattended, not putting it out properly. All sorts of different things people do that create forest fires. A lot of them are created by people doing things carelessly. We need to be very careful because a small fire can turn into something huge, cost people lives and homes. All sorts of terrible things happen with some of these fires. So while the fire danger is so extreme right now, stay safe and be careful. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and I've talked about this before, I made a YouTube video years ago on a 100-degree day talking about it. I think I'll share that YouTube video around, and that's kids in cars. I want to say good morning to Dixon. Dixon says we need to bring back Smokey the Bear. I agree. And I don't know if did he leave? I mean, we just don't see him as much anymore, but does the Forest Service still use Smokey? Definitely his message. Only you can prevent forest fires. People that are as old as Dixon and I remember those commercials a lot. We just don't see him anymore, but it's true. So thanks for bringing up Smokey. Now we're going to talk a little bit about kids, leaving kids in cars. And people say, oh, Alan, that's just common sense. Nobody would do that. Yeah, well, people do that. An article I just read this morning, which I wanted to discuss this because I saw this article and I've talked about it before. Again, I'm going to post that YouTube video around all over the place today as well. It's an old YouTube video, but the message is still the same. But right now, a 2-year-old just died in New York, and it's the 12th child in 2024 that has died in a hot car. A number of them just this last week. I mean, it says the incidents this last week include a 2-year-old in New York, a 2-month-old in New Jersey, a 5-year-old in Nebraska, and a 2-year-old in Arizona. They all died over the past week. And there's been at least 12 hot car deaths involving children in 2024 so far in this country. When it's hot outside, the temperature in a car increases way worse. So it's 100 degrees outside. It can be 120, 130 inside that car, depending on what kind of car it is and where it's parked in the sun and so forth. But it can be, good 20 degrees hotter inside that car within minutes. It doesn't take long. So it's like, I'm just going to run in here for a minute. Then your minute turns into a couple minutes. That heat can increase that much. And we have to remember, I said last week on one of my programs, young kids and elderly, the heat can affect them worse and faster. So you put a combination, a young child, that's extreme temperature, you got big problems. And 12 kids have died this year already because of it. 4 in the last week at different places across the United States. Now, sometimes it's an idiot parent, but often it's not. People jump to that conclusion. They're just idiots for doing it. No, because I did research and stuff on this, and I've looked at the reports and statistics and things. I made that video that I'll share later on from YouTube. Sometimes it's a variety of reasons, and it's not that they're bad parents, but something bad happened. And that's why, a lot of experts will encourage putting some kind of reminder for you when you put a kid in the back seat, because sometimes some of these kids have been left in the back. It just slipped the parent's mind. And you say, well, how could that happen? Well, in our busy hustle and bustle world that we have today, haven't something slipped your mind before? It has mine, hasn't it yours? I never forgot my kid in the back seat, but it's like your spouse does all of the kid drop-offs every day, and this is just the one time that you're doing it because your spouse had something else to do. So you're never used to having a kid in the back seat, and you go about doing your regular daily things, and you're so busy, and you got this coming at you and that coming at you, and you're worried about those things, and it slipped your mind. That has happened to a lot of poor parents. And it wasn't that they were bad people or they were, it's just life overtook them and they did something and lost their child for it. I mean, there are a lot of situations where that is the reason a child has been left in a hot vehicle. Other times it's just somebody thought, oh, I'll just do it for a moment. No, just never do it for a moment. When you put the kid in the child seat, you strap them in, because all kids that age should be in the back in a secure seat. We've talked about that on the show before. Put some kind of thing, so you're not going to forget them. And so when you get out, they get out with you, and you'd never leave them in the vehicle. I mean, sadly, 12 this year already, and it's only the middle of July. We have a number of hot months coming up. Say good morning to Jay and good morning to Vicky. Appreciate you guys being here. Dixon shared, there's a PSA that shows a man working in his garage while his 3-year-old daughter climbs into the family minivan and thus the door. Need to stay aware. That's a case as well. A child, especially a young child that is big enough to get into a vehicle like that 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old that just died this week, and then maybe get trapped in there themselves and the parents don't even know. So there's a lot of different factors that have gone into kids dying in hot cars. And that's why I'm not blatantly saying it's a bunch of idiot parents, because that is not the case. That it's probably minimal, just an idiot parent. And it's more a lot of different factors that we just need to be aware of and be extra careful, especially in this super hot weather we're having, and we're going to continue to have for a while from all the weather reports and stuff that I've been looking at. So, a couple little things to stay safe. When you're out in the woods, be aware, be careful. Fire danger is extremely high right now, and it wouldn't take much to cause a catastrophe out there in the woods with the fires, as hot and dry as it is. And if you have kids, you take care of kids, you have kids, whatever, be extra careful that no kids are left in hot cars. If you were to happen to see a child in a hot car, remember, minutes count in those situations. And there have been law enforcement officers and regular people that have shattered windows and saved kids in hot cars. I'm not telling you to go out and be a vigilante and start breaking windows, but if you were to see a kid and there was no other way to get them out of that hot car and you can't get law enforcement there quick enough, minutes can count to do what you have to do to keep that kid alive, and save a life. So that's just a little safety advice today during that heat wave that we're in the middle of. Remember to get that newsletter. Probably put something in there this week about that as well. EnjoyLifeSafely.com. Go out, make it a tremendous Thursday. Going to say good morning to my airborne brother James before I leave. So make it a tremendous Thursday, and I will see you tomorrow.